Recording in progress.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Functional Medicine with me, Dr. Howard Robbins. Uh, I'm kind of happy. It's been a very stressful and difficult thing, and best way to deal with stress is to be happy about things. It keeps your immune system strong and your pain threshold high, and so that you know it's just a better way to be when you're dealing with things. And um, all the things that have been going on have led me to why I'm going to do this show today on mold and mixed mold mycotoxicosis, which I happen to be published on in the online journal of complementary and alternative medicine. And I'm giving you an update on one of the old show that I did online on mold, and I think it's kind of important. Um, we're now, Voice America is now heard on Libsyn, as well as on I have this show. We're going to be fixing it up because I'm technologically challenged, and I now have people helping me with my challenged issues to smooth out my show and everything when we post it up on YouTube. Um, but in any case, uh, uh, I just first always want to thank my sponsors for the show. The first sponsor is Promo Life. Promo Life is without a doubt the finest ozone manufacturing company here in the USA. They make ozone generators for home care, for medical use. Um, they also make a wide range of ozonated products. Very soon, we're going to be doing a show on one of the newest ones that they have available. I don't know if they're selling it yet. I'm getting samples shortly, and I'm going to be continuing to test them on a new product called ozonated glycerin. It won't be explosive, but it can be pretty amazing in its healing properties. But they have a wide range of home care products that's just wonderful. From underarm deodorant that's amazing and outstanding and safe because it doesn't contain aluminum, um, to ozonated oils of all kinds, suppositories. Go online to promolife.com. Take a look at their various products. If you're not sure what they can be used for, go listen to my podcast here on Voice America on ozone home care. And we go over many of the different uses. We've done several different shows in the past. We go over many of the different uses of their home care products, including one of their newest ones, which is an ozonated, where you can make ozonated water to drink, to use for cleaning foods, vegetables, wounds. It has so many uses, ozonated water. So you go online, look at all about it, and then call them at 888 742 3404. That's 888 742 3404. Tell them you heard about it here on the show, and they'll do something special for you. I also want to thank Doctor's Biome. Doctor's Biome is a very unique and important world and game changing ozonated, probiotic beverage. Okay, there's no ozone in Doctor's Biome. Um, in any case, it has 15 patented strains of bacteria that have been created. They're called next generation bacteria, created to survive the stomach acids over 85 to 90%, where capsule, powder, and tablet probiotics are destroyed over 90%. We've done many shows on this. You can look up one show that I did recently on why it's so important for everybody to take, particularly if you have any digestive problems. And it's also made those same 15 patented next generation bacterias are also called smart probiotics. That means they have, when they reach the wall of your colon, because they're already living, they're living. They're not in suspended animation like a capsule, powder, and tablet probiotic, which are killed predominantly by the freeze drying process. And then those that do survive have to come back to life and grow into healthy adults to populate the wall of your gut. It's where you need them, not just to aid digestion, but that's where you need them the most. In any case, they're called smart probiotics because they're also created that combination, next generation and smart probiotics, to stick to the wall of the gut and actually do important things, getting yeast in balance, getting rid of bad bacteria, and helping the gut wall heal, aiding in digestion and thus in an absorption of all the wonderful food and supplements, even pharmaceuticals that you might be taking. So it makes everything work better. Listen to the shows that we've done on probiotics and why they're so important. And this one is living in a delicious 100% organic vegetable fruit juice. So go to doctorsbiome.com, put the code radio20 in, and you'll get 20% off your first order. It's not an inexpensive product. Nothing cheap is good. Nothing good is cheap. For a reason, they often say cheap is expensive, but this product is just absolutely wonderful. If you have questions about it, you'll be able to email me. I'll be able to help you answer some questions about it, but listen to the podcast first. So now we're going to get right to our show. And it's pretty much recognized that we're facing a worldwide crisis right now with increasing numbers of people suffering from compromised immune systems. Autoimmune disease is on the rise. It's 3 or more times more common than it was even just several decades ago. Probably, and it's been considered, why is this happening? And it's because the world is just filled with toxins, virus, fungus, yeast, mold, parasites, harmful free radicals. Toxins are just found in just about everything. And we've done shows on it. And many people eat, whether they want to or not, a very poor diet. So they're having very poor nutrition. And now we have that added problem, the EMFs. These EMF radiation from these electromagnetic fields from virtually everything. I keep right here, just inches, a foot and a half away from me, a big chunk of shungite. Shungite is a mineral that's mined in Shunga, Russia. I don't know how easy it is going to be getting it because of that. And I've also done I've done shows, I believe, on this, but I also wear a piece around my neck, and it made a major, major difference. It doesn't block EMFs, it neutralizes them. But problem is, it's very well believed. I mean, even Klinghardt, Dr. Klinghardt has a study that he said we have 600, according to him, and he's pretty respected man, 600 times more mold biotoxins in because of EMFs. It just seems to make them grow. Now, when you have an impaired immune function in your body, and people don't know this until they do get sick very often, you're more susceptible, okay, to getting or catching a mold infection. And unfortunately, there isn't a lot that people know to do about this. The most common kinds of, there's literally probably thousands of molds. I don't care if you build a house brand new, within 3 to 6 months, according to the experts, within 3 to 6 months, you're going to have mold behind every dry wall. Eventually, in homes, you're going to have mold attaching itself to uh, plumbing, to wiring behind the walls. And generally speaking, we're resistant to it. Okay. We are resistant to mold. Um, Black mold being probably the most common type. S. chartaria is probably the most common one. But new mold is a real problem. When we had Hurricane Sandy here, um, which I got hit by twice, I had gone to Puerto Rico on just for a short, long weekend long vacation and we got there on a Thursday at a vacation club that we go to there. And on a Friday, we decided to go to the rainforest, and then we were told the rainforest is closed because the hurricane is coming and they can have flash floods. So we decided to go into San Juan and go to the fort that's there and check that out. And they closed that early because the hurricane hit. And then we had some dinner. We went back to our club and we stayed there. The hurricane hit. They were basically closed airports. Half the island was with 500,000 people were without power. And finally, we got power. We were able to fly home on our scheduled flight Monday. And that Friday, Hurricane Sandy hit here in New York. So I got hit by the same hurricane twice in literally 1 week. Well, what happened? A lot of people were severely damaged by the water that rose. And they, of course, if your house gets flooded, you have to remediate everything. So they'd go down to basements, they'd tear out drywall, they'd tear up carpeting, anything you had stored there that was covered in water was thrown away into dumpsters. Unfortunately, it was done improperly. It had to be remediated like hazmat, because what would happen is that they threw all this stuff into dumpsters, and mold spores are what you have to be concerned about. So the mold produced spores. A good wind came, blew these mold spores literally sometimes hundreds of miles away, and I was getting I had patients come in who lived in the mountains far away from where the hurricane even touched, and they were coming in with mold toxicity and mold allergies. Black mold can make you very sick. It shouldn't kill you, but if you already have a weakened immune system, technically it could lead to that. When you have mold allergy, there's a whole bunch of symptoms that you might develop. For example, runny nose. You might feel your sinuses congested all the time. Now, people have this already to begin with. I understand that. But now we're talking about unusual. So maybe you haven't had nasal congestion, or maybe it suddenly got worse. Runny noses, wheezing. Maybe I caught a cold or something. But differences are you often get itchy skin or itchy eyes, a sore throat, headaches. Oh boy, and there's a whole bunch of potential when it really gets bad. A whole bunch of neurologic symptoms. You can get a skin rash, by the way. Headaches, by the way, can be very severe. They often lead to migraine headaches in people. There's memory loss and brain fog, brain cloudiness, brain fog. If you have it, you know what I'm talking about. Short-term memory issues, um, mood changes. You can have big mood swings from depression to anxiety. Um, you might, when it starts to become neurologic, we'll talk more about it after our break, but you can get tremors, uh, dizziness can affect your inner ear, and you can have balance problems, um, burning, tingling, um, uh, numbness, uh, not just itching in your hands and particularly in your feet. And you're wondering, and maybe get misdiagnosed with many other things. When what is it? You got exposed to mold and you became allergic to it, and now your body has a, because you have a compromised immune system, is reacting to it. So even if you live in a relatively mold-free environment, or mold that your body has grown used to and tolerates well, you can suddenly get hit that way. Every winter, mold develops in the trees and the mountains, and in the spring, the winds bring it down to into cities and whatnot that are on ocean level. And so you go out on a nice, beautiful spring day, you take this beautiful deep breath. What a beautiful sunny day it is. And now you've just inhaled mold spores off trees that came in the spring. Um, so there's many different ways that this can hit you, whether you realize it or not. And when it hits you, it's a problem. Now, what we're going to do, um, basically, I still have a minute or two before we go to our commercial break. Keep in mind, your body's immune system is amazing. It's supposed to fight these kinds of infections. Um, but if you're living in an environment that's just loaded with it, and now you become toxic to it, you've got a real problem. I have a very special Dow Corning. I'm where I in the area I'm in right now. Um, it's my actual basement. I had everything taken out, and I had this Dow Corning material put in that is absolutely mold proof. Mold cannot grow behind it, so I don't have any more mold on the walls down here. I use a special type of flooring that's made of that looks like wood, but it's actually, like, I keep in my office in the city for that reason. Looks like wood, but it's made of, it's like a stone. So mold cannot grow. And this way, I don't have to have that moldy like smell in the air, and I don't have to be worried or concerned about it. Let's talk a little bit more about this when we come back from our break. And then we're going to talk about how you can test for it. And hopefully, if you test positive for it, how do you get rid of it? Everybody, stay with us, and we'll be right back. Hello, everybody. We're back again. We're talking about mold toxicity, which is actually a layman's term because it's actually called mold mycotoxicosis. And why my paper is called mold and mixed mold mycotoxicosis is because there's over 300,000 species of mold that it can exist worldwide. God knows, I don't think they'll ever, because there's always changes that are taking place, probably even way more than that. So, way more than that. But there are certain common indoor species that you can become allergic or sensitive to. Aspergillus, Alternaria, Acremonium, Cladosporum, Dressler, Epicocum, of course, Penicillium, the black mold, Stachybotrys, and Trichoderma. Um, and there are actually certain types of Candida, which is a yeast that can cause these issues. So once again, brain fog, focusing issues, memory issues, cognitive issues, depression, anxiety, insomnia, irritability, neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, particularly in the feet and in the hands, respiratory symptoms, trouble breathing. Oh, I have patients that have to live with, when they first come in, with oxygen constantly, through nasal cannula, because otherwise they're not getting enough oxygen. Their lungs aren't working right anymore. Uh, Sinus problems, immune problems, of course, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, which is generalized muscle pain, vasculitis, hypothyroids, hypogonadism, sexual dysfunction. I'm reading off a list that I have here because I don't want to leave anything out. Rashes and hives and GI distress and dysbiosis, of course. Yeast will overgrow because it's your T cell system that has to fight all these viruses and fungus, yeast, and mold. So it's already dysfunctional and it's fight because of candida, and that leads to trouble. You may have a problem while you've gained weight and you can't lose it. This can also lead to cancer. Okay. Now, there are various First of all, you can buy kits online and in various stores. You can buy kits to have your house tested for mold, and the pathogenic versions of it is more particularly. And there are companies that are set up just to do just that. So you'll find what's interesting is that possibly the worst place for mold might be in your bedroom. So you're going to sleep each night and you're inhaling mold spores that are coming into your room through the molding that's behind your drywall. That's where the problem starts to come from. And if you have a compromised immune system already, this is going to lead to developing this allergy, if you want, or just simply a sensitivity to it. Some people are born with this kind of allergy. So when you first get it, your body is going to should have your house tested, and you should test your house, particularly if you have any of the symptoms that I've been speaking of. So first thing that happens is that your immune system is going to respond, and you get IgEs, capital E. IgEs will develop, which are antibodies that your immune system makes to try and fight specific types of allergens, which includes black mold. So After your first exposure, you're going to develop there are cells in your body called mast cells that become very sensitive now to this black mold, and that's when you're going to first start to develop reactions to it. Not the first exposure, but the second exposure or third. So once the next time your mast cells get hit by these spores, which are acting like allergens now, you start to get release of histamines and other chemicals in your body. And that's what's going to cause your reactions to start taking place. Moisture is the real culprit. So dehumidifiers are very powerful tools to have if you have a good one, a good dehumidifier. If you're having this problem, you may need one in every room in your house, because if you can dry the room out enough, that's why it pays to buy a really good one. If you can dry the room out enough, the mold, it needs the dark and moisture to thrive. Apparently, it could live on virtually anything. So that's what you need. And like I said, yes, remediating your walls in your bedroom where you pull out all the drywall, you put in new, you may find your power lines, to all your different sockets and everything are contaminated. You can change all the wiring. Within 3 to 6 months, it's going to be back to a great degree, believe it or not, unless you can keep things dry enough that won't happen. Okay. It's an invisible threat. That's what you have to understand. And unfortunately, traditional medicine doesn't have any really good answers for it. And that's what we're going to be talking about now for the rest of the show, is how to treat it. But let me start with this. While I'm going to be going over many of the different things that you can swallow, okay, traditional medicine just doesn't have an answer for it. Basically, they'll put you into a hospital because they have to give you IV therapies to try to treat it. And the IV therapies just basically, they just don't work. They come with a host of adverse effects, and I don't tell people what to do. I barely have control over me, let alone anybody else. So you could do whatever you like. My show is not here to make you do something. People can do whatever they please. But if you're listening to this show, there's a strong chance that you've suffered from this for quite some time. I generally don't have to put my patients on all these other things, but supplements to take. But there's other medical issues that are going to interact now, including heavy metal toxicity and other things that are going to become problematic to you. Pharmaceutical medicine is going to use triazoles, conazoles, B-amphotericin, to try and attack the mold that's in your blood now. Okay, it's in your blood. Unfortunately, they can severely damage your liver. So I'm not a fan of this. And I have patients that have come in with hepatitis caused by, call it chemically induced hepatitis, caused by these pharmaceuticals. So now we're not only trying to clean out mold and fix mold and its effects on the body, but your liver is in jeopardy. That's why intravenous ozone therapy becomes so valuable and important. Now, when it's in your blood, the hyperbaric, now we've done a podcast. In fact, I just repeated it whenever I travel to lecture, and I'm coming into my big lecture season now, where I'll be traveling uh, uh, out to California to help my buddy Robert Rowan train doctors the beginning of February. Then the end of the month, I'm going to go down to Annie Appleseed Project to talk about, I'll be at a special roundtable on how ozone therapy can help in the prevention and treatment of cancer. We've done plenty of shows on cancer. And then March, I go down to the American Academy of Stem Cell Physicians again, where I'll be, lecturing and a keynote speaker at their big meeting in Miami. And then I have to go to Mexico to help in training of doctors. So this is my season. I go through several seasons like this every year. So we'll be repeating some key and important shows. But the show that I just did on intravenous ozone therapy, everything you need to know, I go over all the different methods and why we use the three most powerful ones that we use. And two that are, one that's ideal for mold, and two that the second one that can help tremendously as well is the one my buddy Robert loves to use, and I do too, hyperbaric high dose ozone. This is where we use a special Zatzmann German machine and Zatzmann and Hesse German machine, and blood comes out very rapidly. It gets ozonated, about 200 cc's of blood. It gets ozonated in this glass collection bottle, and then it's pressurized in the bottle. And that forces the gas into the blood, sterilizing the blood, and then the blood back into your body. Now you got waste products in there, okay? And that's going to get urinated away, okay? And without stop, that process gets repeated up to 9 more times. So a total of 10 passes of blood in and out of your body got the nickname 10 pass. Its real name is hyperbaric high dose ozone with multipass. So that can help clean blood out well and fast. But what if it's stored in cells in your body, which is what the mold spores can do? And then they get released again into your blood and they can become active. That's why direct IV ozone therapy, where we push the oxygen and ozone gas directly into your veins, becomes so important and valuable. Okay. Yes, it's a marathon. Unfortunately, by the time you're coming in, your body is just loaded with this. And it's not as they say in New Jersey, bada bing, bada bang, and you're done getting a few treatments and your life is turned around. The good news is, while no moral and ethical doctor should ever promise or guarantee a result, if you're at least using the direct IV method, we can generally fix just about everybody. Because even if you're successful 10,000 patients in a row, you never know when you're going to fail. But we've had nothing but amazing success with mold, getting rid of mold. Lyme disease patients also, because of their compromised immune system, commonly have mold infection. Everybody that walks around with candidiasis because you've had an antibiotic even once in your lifetime, or you eat red meat or chicken that isn't organic or farm-raised fish, you're going to kill all the good boys off almost instantly from the antibiotics, which is why you need doctor's biome so importantly. Well, this is another way that part of the immune system that would normally fight the mold isn't able to. And that's part of what ozone is going to do. Intravenous ozone, the way we use it, not the wussy girly boy methods, like major autohemotherapy and ozonated saline and things like that, which have some benefit, but minimal benefit. So I stopped using them many, many, many years ago. Now, we've done over 420,000 intravenous ozone therapies, proving not only its benefits, but its safety and the way we use it. So, bottom of it all, that's what's going to destroy the mold in your body, get into cells, destroy the mold spores that might be in your cells if they get released in your blood. So we do that ideally every day. You need to fight this. The minimum is always 3 or 4 treatments a week, but that's just going to extend the period of time that it takes to get you well. When you have this kind of problem, ideally, you need to be treated every day for it. Not only that, but because of the effects it has on lungs, many of the patients who have it have to do oxygen by nasal cannula in the office. We always keep 2 big tanks for that reason in each of the treatment rooms, so that while you're getting the therapy and afterwards, you're inhaling oxygen through your nose. And this helps in the breathing and and your elimination of all this, because there's mold in your lungs, and ozone is going to reach your lungs and destroy it there. That's what's so wonderful about it. Anywhere blood goes, ozone will go, and ozone will destroy these toxins. Um, but it takes many, many treatments. If you want to know more details about it, go to my show, Intravenous Ozone Therapy, Everything You Need to Know, and listen to the parts on hyperbaric high dose ozone, 10 pass, and direct IV, Robin's method actually of direct IV ozone. And that'll give you a much better idea of what it's like and what to expect. But we've had
Recording in progress.
We've had nothing but amazing results using intravenous ozone therapy. So once again, go to my show called Intravenous Ozone Therapy, Everything You Need to Know. It goes over the direct IV method, and it goes over, which everybody can have because it uses little itty bitty needles, and it goes over the hyperbaric high dose ozone method that you might need to treat mold. And always keep in mind that you may have to be inhaling oxygen that we give you while you're getting the therapy to help you, deal with the lung issues that mold toxicity can cause. There is no better medicine to get rid of mold in your body than intravenous ozone therapy using those 2 methods. You can add ultraviolet blood irradiation on, UVI. We do have that as well, but that's additional and not necessarily needed to get rid of this horrible infection. And I'm going to keep repeating it. Yes, it is a marathon. It is not going to be a 1, 2, 3. You need to do it ideally, if you're really sick, every single day, if your body permits it. Your body's the boss, or the minimum of 3 or 4 treatments a week, until it's completely gone for an entire month. And then we reduce the therapies down to 2 a week for 4 weeks, then 1 a week for 4 weeks. And then once in the month, so that you stay a patient, and just to make sure none of your symptoms come back. And if none of your symptoms come back, it sounds like you're good to go. Everybody, we're going to take our next commercial break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody. We're back again. So there are supplements that you can start taking. So first of all, keep in mind that your liver has been challenged. But there are various supplements that can also help in the elimination of mold. If you don't have intravenous ozone therapy in either the direct IV method available, the direct IV method, if you don't have that available to you, and if they haven't been trained by me, maybe they're not using it the best way it can be used. Not to promote myself, but that's why I've been doing this for the direct IV method. We've done over 370,000 treatments over the last 30 of my 34 years of doing ozone therapy. So we've kind of perfected by learning how to push the envelope, and this is the important word, safely. And ozone is going to act as an anti-inflammatory as well and help in the detoxification of the liver. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can take orally. And if you don't have ozone anyway available, you might want to start on the oral stuff to see if it's going to work. If it's able to eliminate enough and just at least improve your life, it was worthwhile. So stuff, and generally a lot of this is pretty easy to get. You can get activated charcoal, and you can start taking activated charcoal capsules, 2 to 4. Remember, your stool's going to turn black, don't get scared. 2 to 4 capsules at a time, 3 to 4 times a day. Bentonite clay, look at the labels because different ones may work. They may recommend at different dosages because they're binders that when you take orally, they can absorb the mycotoxins and they help get rid of what's in your digestive tract that way. If you happen to have available, like I have in my house, a far infrared sauna, we've done shows on sauna. Far infrared sauna helps get rid of the several. You could do it every day if you want. They help in the elimination of the mycotoxins and heavy metals through sweating. Liver detoxification is very important, and you're not necessarily don't just run into the sauna if you have a real toxic liver. You may want to start generally and gradually with like taurine, 500 milligrams orally twice a day, and gradually increase that up based on how your body responds. And what I mean by that is watch out for diarrhea. But you can go from 500 milligrams twice a day to maybe 1,000 milligrams twice a day, and build up, stopping short of digestive uncomfortability and whatnot, because that can be very, very helpful. Then there's a lot of other things you can do for your liver detoxification. Milk thistle, biggie. NAC, N-acetylcysteine, phosphatidylcholine, alpha lipoic acid. Well, when you take N-acetylcysteine and alpha lipoic acid and vitamin C 5 or 6 times a day for the vitamin C, that is so key and important. I can't overemphasize that. Alpha lipoic acid, vitamin C, and NAC, N-acetylcysteine, create natural glutathione in your body. And glutathione is very powerful in helping eliminate mold from the body. With ozone, you don't generally need all these things. But without it, you have to. And don't just say, I'll do this or I'll do that. I'll try it and see if it works. That step-like approach, try this, try that, try this, try that. If it didn't work, I'll get rid of it. You need to do them all. It's like a circle of care. And if the circle has a flat tire because you're missing NAC and you need it, when you add it on, you pump that tire up. And when you're taking all the different supplements that might actually benefit you that you can tolerate, that's when you start to get some really great results. Let's see what else. Oh, there's so many. Dandelion root is very, very valuable. A lot of people go and make dandelion tea, or they'll go when the spring comes. Try not to get dandelions from where cars are, because they're going to absorb all the harmful gases that are coming out of cars on parkways. I see people go out there digging them up, in the spring, because they know dandelion and dandelion roots are valuable. So dandelion root here can be valuable, but you want to get healthy dandelion root. And you can get all these things online today, so you don't have to go out and buy it yourself. Um, um, Most people who have mold toxicity need to take magnesium. Uh, they're often deficient in vitamin D3, which means you need to take vitamin K. Don't worry about D3. You could take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D3 a day. Make sure you take an adequate amount. Now, if you're seeing some doctor, alternative doctor, functional medicine doctor, they should know all these things. But if they don't, of course, everybody could, with these issues, needs B vitamins. CoQ10, you should be taking CoQ10 every day. Zinc, I still use zinc piconolate. Maybe there's a better form of zinc to take than there normally is 50 milligrams a day. These are are very important supplements. You should avoid certain foods. For example, if avoid alcohol, avoid coffee, because coffee is often high in mycotoxins and pesticides. So if you're going to do coffee at all, if you insist, make sure it's organic. Now that becomes important. Avoid things that are artificially colored, flavored, preserved. Try to stick, when you're sick with this, to organic green vegetables. That's the best way to go. I don't really do berries, organic berries. Very, very good to be eating large amounts of organic berries when you have these kind of problems. But you want to avoid herbicides, pesticides, things that have plastic and vinyl. I mean, even fish today can have that in it. So these are all the things that you want to try to avoid. I still remember I had one patient, Captain Chris. He used to take charters out here at Montauk Point. I'm sure he became a good friend. He wouldn't mind me. May not know who he is. I don't know if he's still in that business, but he came in sick as a dog. He thought he was going to die. He had all the symptoms that I said before: wheezing, anxiety, depression, mood swings, the brain fog, cloudiness, because he also had Lyme disease. And so now he's living on a boat, a wood boat, expensive, old, classic wooden boat that had so much mold. It was like walking into the most toxic environment that you could ever imagine walking into. And he had to sell his boat, and eventually went to work. It took us over a year to get him well, but he gained his weight back that he had lost, and he was finally feeling healthy again, thank God. And it was able, because he used to sleep in his boat. Oh my, it was like sleeping and inhaling poison with every breath. And he went from 190 pounds down to like 160 and then back up again, fortunately, as we started to treat him. And he only had small veins, so we can only use the Robbins method of direct IV ozone on him, because there we're able to use little itty bitty needles and get little itty bitty veins. It's a 2 to 6 minute treatment. And he came in every day for the first month. I think he was getting 5 or 6 treatments a week. And with Lyme, associated, we got to be, that's another whole issue because Lyme patients, you, their body doesn't say, treat me every day. Mold you can often, but not with Lyme. And of course, he was able to get intravenous glutathione added into the mix, which we now bypass the inability to absorb glut. If you're wasting your money on glutathione orally, it's because you just don't care or you don't know. Most of the time, you just don't know. Oral glutathione, according to all my buddies in functional medicine, is completely destroyed in the stomach. There are forms of it that they're selling that you spray in your mouth and do sublingually. I don't know if they really work that well or not. You can try them. I'm not against the use of them, but certain oral, if you're swallowing it, ain't going to work. So intravenous, we developed, works really well. We call it a Robbins glute sandwich. You get half your IV ozone, we disconnect, then we push in the glute, which is in a liquid, intravenous form. We disconnect, then we push in the other half of your oxygen and ozone gas. So we sandwich it in, and we make sure there is a powerful kill-off reaction, because when ozone meets glutathione in your blood, there is a chemical reaction that boosts your own immune system tremendously. You get what we call reactive oxygen species and lipid oxidation products. Listen to my show called Intravenous Ozone Therapy, Everything You Need to Know. And I go over all these different things. So with Captain Chris, it took 11 months. That's why I say it's a marathon. You have to stay with this until all your symptoms are completely gone for an entire month at full blast. And then we decrease it gradually over the next, month or two until we finally stop it. That is the way to get rid of it. And if you can't, you can try all those different supplements to at least help get your liver out of a toxic state and boost yourself back up again a little bit. I wish you luck if that's all you can do. Otherwise, come to New York to see me. If you have questions about this, call me on in my office at 212-581-0101. That's 212-581-0101. My website is Ozone Doctor, OZONEDOCTOR, Ozone Doctor .net. Ozone Doctor, all spelled out, .net. You can email me at Ozone Doctor, OZONEDOCTOR @yahoo.com. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. We do online consults. You absolutely have to get, if you can't do ozone intravenously, contact PromoLife and get a hold of one of their home. Tell them you heard about it here on the show and you want to get set up for ozone home care. You can do what's called rectal insufflation and drink ozonated water. Rectal insufflation is an ozone enema. Easy, comfortable, easy to do. We've done shows on home care. Call them at 888-742-3404, 888-742-3404. Tell them you heard about it here on the show. They'll do something special as a gift to you for having, called in from it. Get set up for ozone home care, rectal insufflation, and drinking ozonated water for this. In addition, Doctor's Biome is essential to fix this problem. You have to go online to doctorsbiome.com, doctorsbiome.com. Sounds like biome, but it's Doctor's Biome. It's pronounced. And use the code radio20 and you'll get 20% off your first order. Okay. Everybody, stay healthy, stay happy, stay well, and come back and tell your friends all about our show and come back again next week. We'll be here for you.